Okay, welcome to November 16th, special meeting of the Human Services Advisory Board. I'm calling the meeting to order at 7:02 p.m. Thank you all for attending. I will now call the roll for the record of board members in attendance. Joanne here. Mary?
Here.
Monica? Monica.
Present.
Alfreda?
Here.
Melina?
Here.
And Gloria?
Here.
And then we have Megan. Okay, with 6 of the 7 voting members in attendance, we have a quorum. Staff, is anyone present in person, online, or by phone to speak during the citizen comment period?
So we have one person here, so I'm going to click on allow to talk and see if they are wanting to speak during this period.
Okay.
So we have Lexi Schmeider. And we now have a citizen comment period. And so there she is.
I'm just watching.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. We will now consider approval by motion of the November 9th, 2021 and October 12th, 2021 meeting minutes. Do I hear a motion?
Yes.
Gloria, okay. The motion was made by Gloria. Do I hear a second?
I second.
Okay, the second was made by Alfreda. Does the board have any discussion or corrections regarding the minutes? All in favor of approving the minutes, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
All against say no, say nay, rather. The motion to approve is carried. We will now receive a presentation from Carol Griffith, Housing and Community Development Manager, on the preliminary average scores by the board of the applications of the Human Services Grant Funding. After the presentation, we will roll right into the next agenda item, which is to hold a staff facilitated discussion among board members on the FY 2001-22 Human Services Grant applications for the purpose of comparison, evaluation, and selection to create a recommendation to City Council on which applicant agencies should receive funding and how much funding should be granted to each selected agency. So now I'll turn the floor over to Carol. But Carol, before I turn it over to you, can I bring up the my proposal to the board per our phone conversation?
Sure, let me bring up the, I think I'm muted. Nope, I'm not. I'll bring up the spreadsheet.
Okay.
And yep, we can use that to get started.
Okay. We had some discrepancies for the outreach ministry for First Baptist Church. We had 3 at 100,000. We had 1 at 75, and we had 2 at 90. So I called Carol and asked if she would if she would consider an average score. And she said she would, and the average score is 92.5. And so that's still in the high range for the 100 and the 90. And it's also in an acceptable range for Eleanor, who voted at 75. I also called Eleanor today and I discussed this with her. And she said, if the board, and I say if, I won't put any words in her mouth. She said, if the board agrees to the 92.5 for First Baptist Church, she said that she would agree as well. I think that's an acceptable amount since we couldn't all come to an agreement on 100,000, but just to average it out, it's still a very high amount, I think, and one that is fair of 92.5. And so I guess I can open it up to see how many are okay with the 92.5. And the reason that I made this call to her is because even though 3 had came up with 100,000, it was still 50% in agreement. And so that's what my foundation is now in making this adjustment, that it was 50%. And the other agencies that we had came to agreements on, we didn't have that split. And so is everybody okay with the 92.5, and then we can move on? I see Milena saying okay. Alfreda, is it okay with you?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay.
I agree.
Gloria,
Oh, yes, I agree.
Mary,
Oh, yes.
and Monica?
Yes, I agree.
Okay, then it is Carol, it is 100% agreed to at 92.5.
Okay. And we will put that in. Okay. Then that is set. And then, so thank you very much for clarifying that one. And then we will go on to our list for this evening. Before we get started, I did want to bring up, just as a reminder, like to get our thoughts set, I guess, basically, the evaluation criteria, because this will be the final evening of discussion. And so I think y'all have done a fantastic job. I really do. I wanted to just bring this up as a quick reminder of, if we're having to make decisions on who gets what and so forth, consider these factors in your thoughts: community need and justification, that impact and cost effectiveness, sort of bang for the buck. Is the agency ready to go? Do you think it's going to be a successful implementation? And then community support, including, whether or not the board members and the volunteers are active and so forth. And then did they have a good number of letters of reference? And then, of course, also we have the risk assessment available to us if we want to look at that to help compare between agencies. So just a quick reminder on that. So we have these agencies left to discuss. It is 17. And then after we finish, like with this round of discussion, then we'll look at where we stand. So we'll look at how many are funded, how much money we have left over to split among agencies, and so forth. And so if it's okay with y'all, I thought we would just keep hacking away at the list. We have 2 that are still in the middle that we were discussing. And then we could keep going on up the list. It kind of goes up in a matter of agreement. For example, the top one had 5 high scores and 2 middle scores. So that was sort of the highest ranking one that we had. And so without further ado, I will continue
Carol,
on. Yes.
Is it okay if we start at the bottom and work our way up? Because I know you said that you wanted to discuss some that were in the green, but I don't think that we will be having a long discussion on the ones in the green. But I think where the majority of our discussion time is going to be are the ones that we put on hold, if that's okay.
I think you're right. Okay, so why don't we clear up the final 2 in the middle, and then we'll go from the bottom up. So that makes sense to me, because that, before y'all are tired, let's go through the ones that were that needed more discussion. So what we have in the middle is Centacor Foundation. They're 2 programs actually, and we had kind of an even split. One of them did have a low ranking score. Oh, and I'll try to get it up to where y'all can sort of see who scored what. Let's see if I can do that. Yeah. Okay, so Centacor Foundation, these 2 are the ones that we just need to make an initial decision on. They were some that, it's sort of like half were, sorry, I'm stumbling around. Okay, about half the scores were high and about half were in the middle. Why don't we start with talking about Youth Recovery Community specifically as a program? The request was for $10,000. And so the question is, do y'all want to go ahead and fund that or do something different?
Because it's only $10,000, I think that's why I scored high on it, because it is a program that is needed for substance abuse. And so I would vote to go ahead and give them the 10.
Do we have some further discussion on that or some thoughts?
I agree with Joanne. It's not a lot of money they're asking for, and I don't think they don't normally ask for a lot.
Okay. I see Melina with a yes. So, Monica, is that a yes nod?
Yes.
Okay, okay, I'm seeing more than, I saw 5, maybe a 6th, so we're gonna go ahead with that one. So I will cut them and put them on the yes list. And the next one is their other program. So let me get this, I gotta get my process going here. Okay. Next one is prevention of substance abuse. And so this was kind of a half and half across the board, and their request is $15,000. Do we have any discussion on this one?
Do you know what they asked for previously?
I'm sorry, I didn't think to bring up that sheet. Does somebody already have it? I can get to it if I need to.
Let me see.
Let's see if we can.
14,000 last year.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, I'll go back to.
Thanks, Alfreda.
Did they get the 14,000?
Probably.
Yeah, looks like yes, they did.
Oh. Well, substance abuse isn't going down, so,
Yeah,
you know,
Well.
I guess, you know, and they're asking for 15, it'd be kind of creepy to just say, no, 14, but, you know, there's a lot of, they're not the only ones that are addressing prevention of substance abuse. They're a big agency,
I agree.
but
Mhm.
I don't know. Do you want to keep it at 15 or lower it? It's just not the only program
That's-
out there.
Mhm. I'm not seeing a lot of emotion either way.
Any thoughts on
No.
that?
Neutral across the board.
I
Well,
say keep it at 15.
Are they
Lori,
getting funding from other sources? I don't have my notes in front of me.
Yeah, mine are kind of a mess right now.
I
Lori,
know
if
they,
you're talking about
they
lowering
do.
it, what would you recommend to lower it to? If that's what you want to do.
Probably they're asking for how much? 15?
15.
15.
10?
Is there a specific reason that we could give?
Only that, you know, that they're not the only agency that's addressing the prevention of substance abuse. I think it comes from a lot of other sources. And it's more of a informative, educational kind of thing. So,
Could we go with 12?
okay, I like 12.
I wouldn't mind 12 either.
And isn't the youth program? No, that was last year too, right?
What's it?
I wouldn't mind 12.
Okay.
Yeah, I like 12. Where did somebody find the other sources? I can't find my notes on that one. Not
We
that-
could bring up their application if we want to.
The other funding sources are Hayes County and the city of Lockhart.
For how much?
For
About-
that
Hayes
specific
County.
program.
Hayes County for 20,000 and city of Lockhart for 1,000.
So I think
That's
12.
for the substance use, prevention of substance use program.
Okay. Well, and it's, you know, the youth program that it gets addressed there as well.
Mm.
So, and I think that's more important as far as addressing substance abuse for that age bracket.
I'm okay with 12.
Yeah, I'm okay with 12.
So I know we have 3 for 12. Oh, okay, there's Monica. So I'm gonna go ahead and change that and move it over.
Real quick, it says that they have to match the Texas Health and Human Services Commission amount, and it's 30,000. So would that still be okay?
So what were their, so they have to match the 30?
Yeah, it says match required.
And then, so I'm sorry, will you tell us again how much the other cities were paying in?
20.
Thank you for
and
having
one.
this
Yeah, thank you.
20 and 1. It seems like that would still get them their match.
Yeah,
Okay.
it would.
Okay.
That's a-
Enough.
That's a great
Close.
point
That's
to
pretty
bring up.
close.
Yeah,
Um,
okay.
Thanks,
We will
Alpha.
do that. Yeah. Okay, and sorry, let me get this going.
Okay, that one I got.
Okay, funding. Oh, okay, now this one was 10. And this one is 12. Not 120. Okay, we're on. Let me make that like this. Okay. Great. Okay, now let's go back down to the ones that just needed some more discussion. So we can start with, if y'all want to, the Homeless Outreach Mitigation and Emergency Center, so Home Center, Transitional Housing, their Hotels and More program. This one received some low scores. It is a new program, and what our comments were at the time were possibly fund less, recommend partnering with Southside to benefit from their experience. And so from what, and maybe y'all can talk through what you remember of the discussion or some particular sticking points or some particular good points for this one. I think we should kind of look at both sides, good or bad.
I think it's a necessary program. And like I said, Austin's been doing that and having some good outcomes. I think they did a good job putting their packet together. It was pretty informative, and it didn't bog you down with a whole bunch of, I mean, just more is sometimes not better. To go through the paperwork and I like their evaluation and worksheet. I think it's useful to really, triage the people that are needing and entering that type of service. And I can see it as like a step off point for some of the other services. 100, I think, what are they asking, 150?
150 was their request.
That's a tidy amount. So I'm not up for funding that full amount unless y'all feel generous, but
I think
Do you
that was
have,
discussed last week too, Gloria, that we were wanting to give them something, but not the full 150. But we never did come up with an amount, so.
Gloria, do you have a specific amount in mind that you think you'd be comfortable with just to get us started?
I'm thinking at least half. I know there was a couple of folks that I think didn't want to didn't feel like that was necessary. But what's their budget?
Their budget must have been at least 300,000
Yeah,
because we evaluated it to make sure they were asking for 50% or less.
And I think their budget included like phase 1, phase 2. Phase 2, they haven't started, and phase 1, they hadn't started. So it was based off of 2 phases that they haven't started yet. She never did say if that was going to go toward starting the phase 1, or if it was going to, I don't know, help with continuing to help the homeless with hotel stays, because I know the $100,000 that they raised, all of that went to hotel stays during the winter months. So I don't know.
I do happen to know they are currently serving people who are staying in hotels, just FYI.
Right.
So we do know that part.
Are they working with the city in any way, Carol? Are they working with you, or to where if we don't fund them as much as they want, will the city help them in any way?
So far, no. This has been actually their first application for funding. And then they haven't been spontaneously funded by the council or anything like that, like others. So this is just their first, big request that they've come to us with. They are working specifically with the county and with the housing authority on working to get people in contact with those programs. So the Section 8 vouchers with the housing authority, and then the emergency rental assistance through the county. So they're working to connect specific people to those programs, but not for their whole organization. This is the only funding request I know they have out there for the whole organization.
And I know that if
From
we
us.
don't give them the full amount that they want, and that's with anyone, I know that they can go to council and request. We've had that happen before. So it'd just be good to keep that in mind.
Well, they got a $30,000 FEMA grant that's clinched, and some family foundation grant for 10,000, and McCoy's gave them 20,000.
Okay.
So, and they talk about wraparound services and partnering. Why can't I say that word? Partnering with the Hayes County Food Pantry. I think 75 is, it says program expansion, but when they mark that, because it counts considerably on the scoring sheet if it's a new program or existing program. How is it? I thought it was a new program.
It is a new program.
Renders
It
it
is
as
a new program.
It is a new program.
Well,
Well,
I mean,
I guess
it-
I'm wondering why they mark program expansion.
they've been existing for a while now, a year, and raising funds here and there. So they've done GoFundMe campaigns. You've seen, like Gloria just mentioned, the different sources of funding. So to them, it's not a new program. They are trying to bring it to the next level. So
Okay.
yeah, like y'all haven't seen it before. It hasn't been funded by us before. But
Okay,
it's-
well, I said
yeah.
it started in 2020
Mhm.
during the freeze.
During the freeze.
Yeah.
So which phase are they in? Because I can support phase 1, but I think that's just getting the program off the ground. I can't see $75,000. I need to see what is the phase that they're in and what are the specifics in that phase. Does it have that?
Yeah, Mary, I'm with you on that because when he presented it, it was like phase 1 is something that they were trying to build up. And then they just went ahead and put phase 2 in there, I guess, to let us know that that's the long-term goal. But I'm with you on what phase are they in right now? Are they just housing people right now, or is this part of the phase? I don't know.
And I see them long range. I would love to see them partner with Southside Community Center. I just have this vision that it would be so explosive. They would be, housing people and starting and being part of that transition program there, and getting people in permanent housing. That's why I'm saying these phases. It's important for us to understand what the phases, and let's support them along the way. So that's why I'm not in agreement with the 75, because I think in phase 1, what specifically are you doing? Yes, you had a GoFundMe. There were some questions about the accountability and counting where the money go and things like that, and so what is phase 1? That's still not clear to me. I love that they have a plan for phase 2. That means that, they're committed to their program, but I think that we should work with them along the way.
So what amount are you suggesting, Mary?
60,000.
That's what I was thinking.
And that's stretching it because I still don't, what is the phase? What is the phase? What phase are they in? Carol, do you have anything on that?
Yeah, she's pulling up the application.
Well, I was,
Oh, I
yeah,
see.
so I was trying to pull it up to see, because I think that actually they sent us all the presentation. Let me find that. Sorry.
Yeah, I know we had
Because-
asked for that.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I need,
Because I think we could clearly see if we understood what phase they're in, because the snowstorm happened for every agency and every organization. So people just kind of went out and did whatever they could. And, they hustled with a GoFundMe and, they were trying to get it done. But for us to support them along the way, I think it's important that we understand what phase they're in so that we can ensure we give them adequate support funding wise to get through that first phase, and then look at how they're going to support what we give them. They can't grow on this little money we're giving them.
She just pulled it up, Carol. I think the
There it
phase
is.
one.
I think
Yeah.
that's phase 2.
No,
here's,
it's phase
here's
one.
phase
Where's
1.
okay, here it is.
It's right here. So they're saying their 150 is for staffing for 55, transitional housing for 80, and supportive services for 15. Oh, and they've got a little bit of description here, like supportive services, identification, recovery, employment needs, laundry, et cetera. And then the motel cost, and then coordination, like a staff person to coordinate the program.
So they're still in their building phase,
Mhm.
according to this.
Yeah.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but they're
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, that's
they're
correct. I
building
think so.
phase, and where are volunteers in here? Because that's what you start with first, because you ain't gonna have no money. So you reach out to volunteers first of all. So we're funding staff, management and coordinators. So that's a big chunk right there going into salaries,
Mhm.
from my perspective. So I'm not,
Well, if you subtract
That's
that
just
from
me
150,
speaking,
that's
okay.
100. If you subtract the staffing salaries from 150, that's 100.
Well, and I think I don't want to say too much. Like I really don't. I'm trying to be very neutral, but I would, since I'm staff, I feel like I need to point out, without staffing, you can only get to a certain level. Like if you are an all volunteer organization like they are right now, you can do so much. And so right now they have about 5 or 7 people in a hotel, and they're working with those 5 to 7 people. But that's all they can do with volunteers so far, is what I've seen. And so I'm just saying that these nonprofits, like the reason they need the money sometimes is to have a person to deal with the people that they're trying to serve. So that's the staff perspective.
Absolutely. Yeah, that is true. But I just think that's too much. They have some other resources, some other funding they can.
Yeah, and they are talking about potential additional funding sources here. These are
Where?
federal funding. Once they're started, they can start getting
FEMA.
federal funding
Oh, you mean
and
FEMA?
foundation grants.
What I just
Yeah.
said? The FEMA thing?
There's a grant.
Mhm.
I don't know. I
I'm
still
I'm okay with half.
Yeah, I'm pretty, I kind of want to give them half. I can see this as something that would really be beneficial. And I'm sure that and it makes sense for them to coordinate with the South Side. Which is yet a good example of how, it's a good jump off point.
Yeah, it's a good base for them to grow also.
Right.
But the accountability piece was a huge concern with the funding. I think they eventually came up with a budget, or they presented.
Yeah, they broke it down pretty. I thought they broke it down pretty good. Where I got that here somewhere. where they
Yeah, they
broke it
did.
down pretty
They
good.
did.
I don't
You
know if
know,
their
I
budget
don't
was-
think we're struggling for funding right now. I mean, we've been
Mm-mm.
fairly frugal
Mhm.
about our
Yeah.
past decisions, so I'd like to give them half. I don't know that they're, you know how I feel, so I don't know how everybody else wants to.
No, I'm good with the half. I
I'm
mean,
okay with half.
yeah.
I support the half.
Okay. Okay. It looks like we've got 5. So let's see. I've got to get back to where I was. And so,
My paperwork is,
it's a lot. Yeah.
well, it was more organized last week.
Okay. So here we have 75,000. And they are set. Okay. And we will keep going to the next one, which is Seek Institute. So this is the Community Wellness Institute. They were asking for 50,000. This is another one where the discussion had been possibly to fund less and to recommend partnering with First Baptist to benefit from their experience in a similar program. So they're asking for 50,000. Who would like to talk a little bit about this one?
I think I scored low because of that. They could partner with another agency that could help them with that. And so I think my mindset was more of 20, 25, or at least, I don't know. I don't even think my mindset was that high with this because they could partner with someone else.
I support that 25.
Yeah, I
Any
think
other
mine-
thoughts?
15 or 20, yeah.
Okay.
I agree with Joanne. I was thinking the same thing. 25.
I can get on board with 25.
Okay. So any thoughts? Let's see, Melina or Gloria, before we move on with that. Nope.
I'd like to give
Oh.
them more, but if everyone wants to give them half, that's fine.
Okay. And Gloria, I think you were talking but muted. Sorry. I just want to make sure we've.
Yeah, I did. You don't need to listen to me rustle papers around. Yeah, 25 works for me.
Okay. We'll paste them over here.
In my notes, I had wrote that they could possibly do a partnership with Melge, the Iron Sharpens Iron, because they work with people who have been incarcerated.
Right.
I think that was something, the incarcerated part, transition. I think that was something new that they were starting. So with them to partner with Iron Sharpen Iron, who's been doing it much longer, I think that would benefit them as well.
Yeah, it's a little hazy as to what all they do. For,
I agree.
you know, it's I read it. It was a little vague. So
Okay.
it's a good program. 2025 is.
Okay. So speaking of Iron Sharpen Iron, that is our next one to discuss. So this one had some passion on both ends of the spectrum. They had originally asked for 120. Really, that was the cost of their whole program. And so the max that we could give them from this board would be 60,000. And the discussion was possibly fund 60 or less, recommend partnering with First Baptist and other agencies.
The reason that I said recommend partnering with First Baptist is just so that they can add another component to what they were doing. They're really standalone. For us giving them $60,000, half of the 120, I think that is really something that we should do because this is not a duplicate program. This is a program that's already established in Austin. Right now, they're working on a budget of $500,000, $450,000 for Austin. And she's also won some awards for the work that she's done in Austin, Texas, that cut down on crime and also repeating themselves and being able to successfully transition back into the community and also work with the family. Even though this is new to us, it's not new to them. It's very successful in Austin and San Antonio. Do we need a program like this in San Marcos? Most definitely. I don't think anyone would say no. To give her 60, to have her come, meet and greet, get to know the community. And also she is working with the sheriff department right now just on her own because they solicited her. And they also referred her to apply for this grant. With all that being said, I wish that we could give her more than 60 to come to San Marcos on a program that's needed. But to give her any less than that, I think is really a slap in the face because of what she's currently working off of. And that is a program that's really needed here in San Marcos. And if she needs any more, just like with other agencies, I'm sure that she's already partnered with the sheriff's office. And so I'm sure that if she needs any help in any other area, I'm sure that they'll be there for her. But to bring a new to us company, organization to San Marcos, that is needed because we do have that incarcerated population here, and they do have a hard time transitioning. And I'm sure some of the repeat offenses is because of that. So to be able to have a hands-on organization here for them, that's something that's needed. And there's no other program that's doing this in San Marcos.
So I know there was some thoughts on both sides. Can we hear from maybe a different perspective, just for the sake of discussion?
Well, that was pretty detailed. I'm up for 60, the full amount that we can provide.
Okay.
I mean,
Melina, you look thoughtful.
60 is fine. That's
Right.
half. That's fine.
Okay. Okay. And I think, Mary, you were at the 60 as well. So I think that gives us the 4 that I generally look for. Is that correct?
Mary, are you there?
I'm sorry, y'all. Yes, I was listening. I was listening. Yeah, I'm good with the
Okay.
60. That's all we
Okay.
can give her at this point. Hopefully she can get more.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's paste this in. Okay.
Oh, I just said I agree with the 60.
Oh, thank you, Alfredo. Thank you very much. Okay. All righty. Cut some of the notes. Okay. And then our next one, let me hit save before we keep going here. Okay. Next one, this is still, we're in the ones that we had needed some more discussion. San Marcos Youth Service Bureau, Teen Network, Active Community Teens. They were kind of varied in the initial vote. They originally asked for 19,000. The adjusted amount that we could do is 9,500. And the discussion at the time was fund less, see how much is available, maybe 5 or 7. And I guess I should.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I was just going to mention, I think like Gloria was saying, we are in pretty good shape. I think that we have funding available. It really just depends on what y'all want to do.
If we still have funding available and as far as being able to also fund the ones in the green, then I'm okay with 7. If not, then I'm okay with 5.
Okay. And I haven't done a quick total now, but I know we've been conservative. And so I would say that we do have it. So
We have it for 7. Okay.
if that's what everyone wants to do.
I'm comfortable with 7,000.
Okay.
Me too.
I'm seeing some nods. Okay, great. We'll do
Sure.
that.
oh, there it is. There's the other half of the house.
All righty.
I should never have taken this out of a book.
Gloria, you're not muted. We can hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I didn't want you to say anything like, okay,
Thank you.
Okay,
want us to hear.
that's funny. Okay, now we have, I think this is our last one. Yeah, this is another one that we've already discussed before. Oh, sorry, hang on one sec. Just wanted to get it there. Okay. Last one to discuss that was sort of that needing more discussion. Hayes Caldwell Women's Center, the Marla Johnson Transitional Housing Building, or the other parts to it. We just said discuss later. And so, and the request is for 150,000.
And I think the issue was that we didn't want to give them the whole 150. I think Gloria brought up a point too, that she was looking at maybe half of that and that we should give them something. I'm okay with anywhere from 50 to 75, but not the whole 150.
Do they have other sources of funding?
Oh, yes,
They-
ma'am. They
they
have a
do.
lot of sources of funding. They operate on $1 million budget. So yeah, funding is not going to be a problem. And even if we did not give them anything, it would still get done, I guarantee. So, and we also funded other components of their organization as well.
Okay, thank you for the
I
clarification.
think they would be thankful and grateful for that 75.
I think they would be thankful and grateful for anything. And I think that we should give them something because of the services that they provide here in San Marcos. But I just was a little touched on the 150, but I'm okay with half.
I'm okay with half 75,000.
Yeah,
I like the 75,000.
Okay. I'm seeing nods all around.
Sure.
So let's do that. Sorry, I'm trying to be fast. This will just keep us organized. Okay, next one. Now we're just going on up the list. Is also Hayes Caldwell Women's Center Sexual Assault and Abuse Program. So now we are in the ones that were overall in the green category. So overall
Would
they
it be
had.
possible for you to tell us how much we have left?
That's what I was going to ask.
Oh,
Milena.
sure. Yes. So let's make sure I'm. Okay, so what we have funded so far is $575,000. We have $999,000 to give. The ones still on the table are asking for, adjusted requests, sorry. $308,000. So just to bring it up, we could literally move this whole list over to the guest list and we would still have money left over.
Well, could we do that?
I think we could do that.
Yeah, I would vote. Well, I would recommend that we do that. And then if we want to add money somewhere, we can do that as well, until if we have to use up the whole thing. But yeah, and the ones that we were maybe fuzzy on, we can maybe give them some more. But I would recommend moving all of this list over to the other and completely fund them.
I agree.
Okay. Is everyone good with that pretty much? Okay. I'm seeing kind of a majority. So let's do that. And then we will deal with the guest list, the funded list. That's what I was going to say. Okay. So what we have here, let me hide some columns so we can kind of see where we are. I can easily unhide them. Okay, so, and for these, I'll put in their adjusted request amount. And we'll make it the same format. Okay, so it's just such a long list there. It would have to be a lot smaller to show you all of it, but we can do that. So we are now at 884, 419, and we have 999, 120 to spend. And so we have 114, well, 115 just about available. Now I could go through pretty quickly and mark the ones that still have that we could add some money to, you know. We can always, of course, also go over their requested amount for some of them. So let me, but you know what I'm saying? Like these adjusted requests, we can't go over those amounts. Does that make sense? But if we're not hitting half of their program, we could give any organization more.
So the ones that you flagged that, like for instance, iron sharpens iron, we could only give them 60, so we couldn't go over that, correct?
Right.
But the other ones, we can, okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. Correct. So let me see if this will help us. So this gives us,
Can you move this over to the right a little bit so we can see the whole name of the agency? There you
yeah,
go.
let me get rid of that category. How's that looking?
That's good.
So if, in case this helps, this is just showing how much funding they got and then what their request was after adjustment. And so this just shows us the ones that we have funded less than perhaps what they were requesting, basically. But as I said, we could always go back through and, for example, let me pick one. I don't know, the court appointed special advocates, you know, backlog of child protection cases. They asked for 50. If we wanted to fund them 60, we could. We would just have to double check to make sure it's not more than half of their program. But so you have some options available, I guess is all I'm trying to say.
I
Then
would be more likely to add money to an agency that we did not grant the full amount rather than go over what they're asking. That seems weird.
Mhm. Yeah,
I agree with you, Gloria.
Yeah.
just an option. Yeah.
Well, and here's a question: is there ever a need to have? I'm just going to use some regular language. Have a little money in the kitty. Does anybody ever come back and say, you know, there's this new event, new situation? Do they ever? Is there ever a situation where if we have money left over, that we hold it in reserve for emergencies or for any? You hear what I'm asking?
I hear what you're asking. I don't think that's been done before ever.
Okay.
The way it would work, here's the risk. City council has the final decision on this funding. And so if the board decides not to recommend on a certain amount, the city council could easily just allocate it however they wish. Whereas if the board gives a recommendation very specifically on how you want to do it, like I guess if you gave a very specific recommendation, like we want to hold this amount for future funding, then that's your recommendation for it.
I think that so we won't have any issues later, I think we should just go ahead and give it all out. We have before where we've had no money left. And so if it's going to get into a debate with, especially with council, I think that we should just go ahead and just give it all out.
Yeah, I was just wondering if that was ever handled that way in the past.
Yeah, so it just isn't.
So if we don't spend the money, they're going to take it, spend it, and put it to use.
Yes,
It
ma'am.
could easily go somewhere. Yes.
So why don't we,
Yeah.
since we have the opportunity to have the say so of where it goes, why don't we just take that opportunity now and just. go
Yeah,
ahead and-
no, that's a good. I don't have a problem with that. I just.
It's not a bad idea though, Gloria.
Yeah, it's not. It's an option. Yeah, that's a nice thing to say.
That's
Now,
exactly-
here are a couple of ways we could approach this. We could just talk about it you know, however you wish. We could start based on amount. We could also look at the categories that I had, you know, suggested for these and just see like, well, which categories are funded in what ways. I'm just trying to throw out some ideas on how we tackle $115,000 that's available to fund, or y'all can just certainly just pick out an organization and say, I'd really like to give them X amount.
Can I ask a
Let me
question?
ask a question here.
Oh.
Which is an option.
Mhm.
Can we, or would you guys be open to maybe going back and looking at that list of people that we said we would not fund?
Oh, yeah, we could take a look at that. I didn't even think of that.
Mhm.
That would
Anybody
make-
open to
That would
that?
make more sense rather than, trying to add, 5K there and
Okay.
yeah.
Can we
And-
just glance
Sure.
at it?
Sure, we can do that. Before we get started, Megan, did you have a question as well?
Yeah, I was just curious, isn't there going to need to be some level of distinction of if the dollars come from the American Rescue Act or
Oh,
not?
That's a
And
good
it-
thing to cover.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
and that could also help distinguish where some of those extra dollars could go. Just a thought.
So,
That was already taken care of from the beginning, because I remember when you gave us the figures at the beginning,
Mhm.
you
Yeah,
said
we already-
that amount had already been absorbed.
well, it basically is. So but it's a good thing to go over just real quick. Okay, so let me hide this thing. So here's where I have listed for our discussion, or just for our knowledge, which ones are or qualify for the American Rescue Plan. So, and so what staff will have to do if the board doesn't, which is, it can go either way. Like this was going to come up either now or later. We will need to designate which agencies have to do the extra reporting for the American Rescue Plan. And so, and it needs to total $150,000, and it has to be the ones that are yes. And so I was just going to bring it up just after we were done, but we could do it now real quick. We can sort by that column, and I can show you who's in that category and where we stand. So it's all of these. So from Salvation Army on down, and the total amount funded that qualifies is $614,000. So what I can tell you that I would recommend is I would typically go with the ones that that are experienced, number one, because they can handle a little bit extra reporting, and number two, that are most closely related to the pandemic. So emergency assistance, maybe even the transitional housing, food distribution, those things where people who have struggled in a specific period of time may be coming to ask for help with specific things. So for example, it's a little less able to tie into a housing rehab program, for example. So
Right. No, I understand what you're saying.
yeah, so we would tend to select the ones that are basically emergency funding for that. So
Okay.
if that kind of puts it to rest, that's what we were going to do. Like we can discuss it as like y'all can decide as a board which ones are going to end up doing that, or staff can just pick the ones that are most closely related to this funding source. So, and I guess I would say, why don't we wait until after we've got that final list, and then we can really go through it if we want to. So, but that was a good thing to bring up because we won't forget it. It's just
Yes,
Just put it
totally.
out there.
Thanks. I was just I wasn't sure if that would play into these extra dollars in that discussion. So thanks for explaining that.
okay, sure thing. And so here's the not funded list. Let's kind of condense this, unless y'all want to see it. I can just hide it for a minute so that we can see who we're dealing with here. Okay, so we had Will Thrive Foundation / co-working, the Bobcats Pride Scholarship Fund, the Stabilization Fund, the Therapeutic Educational Library, the Born Learning Program, First Baptist Church of San Marcos Mission Able, and then PALS, but they were the ones who we decided not to fund based on the loss of their
Yeah.
status. Yeah.
Oops.
So that's what we've got. And then this does total, let me make sure my total's right. Yeah, it does total to $293,000.
Well,
Well, I would like to recommend that we go back in here and give as many people as we can some money. Starting with First Baptist Church of San Marcos. And this is just me. Where's the mental health? Will Thrive. United Way. And the Splash Coworker.
So let me move them around maybe a little bit. I'm sorry, you said one more. United Way. First Baptist, I think you said in this order. Let me know. Just for discussion purposes. So is that okay?
well,
Looking from the objective, just trying to be standardized. Were all of these high risk? Because I'm concerned with the accountability.
they
Let's
were.
look at that. They were somewhat. Their average, okay, so here's their actual risk scores. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm trying to be fancy and it's slowing us down. I was trying to just get it to where you could see the risk. Okay, so it's a mixed bag actually. So we had 2 that were high risk, Will Thrive and Splash Co-working. And then we had 4 that were in that sort of middle risk category. And I've got it written down somewhere what the scores were, but you can see they're in that like sort of 15 to 30 range for the middle risk. And then PALS was a low risk.
So what if we just fund the ones that are of middle risk or low risk and maybe half the amount?
That's a possibility.
I
That
like
would-
that. I like that.
That would get us here. Oh, and then, well, PALS is a little bit different.
Okay.
But if we did half the amount, so this is 156 total for these 4. And so that would give us about 75,078 as a starting place, perhaps.
So if we had 115 left, if we divide it between those 4, how much would that be?
Oh, we could do it proportionally.
I'm just playing with different numbers in my head.
Yep,
Trying to keep
that's
it objective.
well, I mean, they weren't funded for a reason,
yeah.
Right.
you know.
I mean, why not give the Family Justice Center the 2,500 if that for their little library?
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
that's fine.
I guess.
Right.
That's
Okay.
a small amount.
That's what I
Okay.
was thinking too, Melina. Just go ahead and just divide it between all of them if we're gonna do this.
It's not my money, you know? So yeah, that's okay.
Fine.
You sure it's not your money, Melina?
I'm just trying to be fair instead of picking and choosing, you know.
Yeah.
Right,
what
but
we're
we
gonna
also
do.
have to consider the risk because we are representing that public
Yes.
funding. And so we have a responsibility of accountability as well.
Right.
Well, and I
True.
like focusing
Some
on
of the
the
other
FEMA.
numbers. There were some very low scores also. I mean, we did have some other folks that were high risk also that we funded. These
Okay.
were extremely low, but we did fund some folks that were high risk.
What does the amount come up to, Carol? If we,
If we did, well, if we do half, or if we just, you know, like for these little ones, if we did the whole thing, I guess.
Right.
So you're looking at, here, let's do this. And then, oops, sorry. So if we did this, I'm just based on what y'all are saying, we're at 81,750. So that's giving the Bobcat Pride Scholarship Fund and Family Justice Center their whole amount, and then half for Born Learning and half from Mission Able. And then we still have, you know, I hid the ones that were at the higher risk, but it's not necessarily a thing. We still have Will Thrive and Splash Co-working that are in there as well.
So there's only two that haven't been funded at all, and First Baptist got half of 123 or something. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, that's what we're discussing now. It's really, you know, we have some time. We don't have to rush through it.
I think I'm going to be quiet on this one because they were not funded for a reason. And then to pick and choose where we're going to put funding, high risk, low risk. I just think that I don't really agree. So just whatever y'all decide, I'll just decide with you. But I think I'm going to be quiet on this one.
Carol, didn't you suggest that we focus on the FEMA supported emergency pandemic?
Oh, no. So let me repeat what I was saying about that. So
Maybe I just misunderstood that, but
okay. So
but it does make sense because
No, I would say we don't need to. Here's the argument with that. It is the case that this many 614,000 are qualified for that American Rescue Plan. It's a very broad grant. The question is just going to be who has to fill out the extra paperwork, basically. So I would say we leave that question to the last. It's just not that important because it is so broad. What I was talking about is once we're making that decision, I would tend to recommend going with the services that are most closely related to a pandemic. So emergency funding, that sort of thing. But it's really not a big decision that we have to make necessarily just because there's so many that qualify. And so I would leave that to the very end, basically.
I thought you were inferring that they're more I don't know, worthy.
Not at all. Yeah, no, it's just that they happen to qualify for that funding source, but there's literally so many that do that we have no problem finding 150,000 to fill out the paperwork. And then, I mean, we could even at this point, we could choose Home Center and Hayes Caldwell and be done with it and be like, okay, y'all two have to fill out the paperwork and the others just get the regular funding. So it's just not going to be a big deal. So these are not special in any way. And that's what I've tried to make sure that people know, like that's just another 150,000 in the pot. Basically, we don't really have to worry about it separately.
So
Carol and the board, it was just a recommendation. I can go either way. So if everybody just thinks, okay, we didn't fund them for a reason because of the risk, I just want to point out also that we had other folks who had risk. They just happened to be in this lower range. So either way, I'm good. I just wanted to make that recommendation.
yeah, it's an option. So
Yeah.
we do have some options on the table. Like if you want to consider funding some of these that were just, the board had previously decided not to fund.
Mm.
Great. If you want to talk through and kind of look in consideration on these, that's another option.
Mm. So you can't put the whole, there's just 5 not on the sheet there that's we can't see, or what?
There's, oh, well, I can make it smaller. Yeah, is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Just to get a complete overview. Ooh, that is smaller.
That's small. I might have overshot here. Let's try 85%.
Do you need all that stuff at the top there?
Well, so this is the whole list because now I don't think anybody's dropping off the end. Yeah. So that's as big as it can get.
Okay. So but it starts at 5, doesn't it? Or 6?
Okay. So here.
So
let's,
Central Texas Dispute Resolution Center is the first one, right?
right.
Okay. And
And
South Side
there-
is the last one.
Yes.
Okay. All right. All right.
And here's the column right here is what they're funded.
Uh-huh.
I can sort by, if this is helpful, which I don't know. I can sort by this difference.
Okay. It's pretty cool.
Okay, so here's the ones, and I just sorted large to small, where we had funded less than was possible, and was requested.
The 115,000. If
Uh-huh.
you were just to play with the numbers and go back and fund the ones that we might not have given the most money to, could we absorb that 115 evenly with and giving them more money? Not the ones that would put them over, but the ones that are not over budget, but we could go back and give them more money with the 115 or 114.
So I think that is all of these, if I'm looking at it right. Because they were funded 5. I don't think we're going to put anybody over their amount because it's only these.
Yeah, it's that small group.
Oh,
What's
so
what
the
about
total-
ones on the bottom there? The ones underneath the ones that aren't highlighted.
Okay, so
Community
these-
action.
Oh, they got
Right.
the full amount. It looks like they got the.
they got
full-
the amount that we can give them.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. So the only ones we can take a look at is the one that you outlined, or the ones that we weren't going to fund.
Yes. Well, and you can do whatever, you want, but if you add more to these, then you are giving them more than what they requested.
No, that wasn't what I was asking. I was asking if we
Yeah.
could split it with the ones that wouldn't put them over budget.
Yeah. So here are those. Okay. So here's these, and then the total is 273,562. So that's, if we could do it proportionally, honestly, like I could easily do that. If you want, or you can start like funding the little guys and so forth. The ones that are 25,000 and over, some up to $65,000. So that would leave you,
What if you started at the
50,000.
top? What if you started at the top and go down?
so if we do that, then we run out of money pretty fast just because there's 75 and 75 and that's already 150. So we're done at that point.
We got 115,000.
No, that's not what I was saying. If you had 114,000 and you gave it out to the ones starting at the top to the bottom to give them just a little extra all the way to
The same amount. You're saying
Yeah.
the same amount?
But yeah, just the same
Oh,
amount. Yeah, I'm not
Divided
saying
equally, without
divided
going
equally
over?
between them. Yes, yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Well, that would be
Okay.
the least,
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
That'll take care of it.
yeah, that
okay.
would be
That,
the easiest thing to do.
well, the interesting thing is that, okay, there's 13 of them. If you divide 115,000, or really actually this 114,700,
You're gonna give the smaller ones more, so why don't you
Too
just
much.
fund everybody up to the 5,000 what they
And then-
want, and then
Yep.
maybe after that start, or maybe even the 10. But I would say for sure
Yeah.
fund everybody up to the 5,000, and then add up what's extra and divide it by the total
Okay.
number.
so we can do that. So I can see what you're saying. So, oh, shoot.
I
Hang on one
can't,
second.
but
Okay. Yeah. Okay. What she's saying is, and I'm sorry, this part didn't work, but if we do, let's say up to the 5. Okay, so the weird thing was that Melina is seeing is that if we just divide it evenly, it gives them each $8,800, and so you've overfunded these.
Ah,
If we go ahead and fund all of these at what they're asking, that uses up $30,000. So let's take it out of the amount.
Then
So-
back up at the top, and what's left over, just divided between them. I think that would be fair to do as well.
Okay, so then we have
Agreed.
these 5 left, and we have 84,010. So I'm gonna go back and get that divided by 5. Okay, so then we're giving them each 16,000. Let's put this little 10. I know this is weird, but let's put the 10 in with the little guys. Is that okay?
yeah, that's fine.
We'll try it and see if y'all like it. Okay, here's this. Okay, then we're giving them each 14,800. So each one of these would get, oh wait, no, divided by 4. Okay, so each one of these would get 18,500.
Are we gonna have any time left over for that little after actions thing that you mentioned?
I don't think so, but this really is the main event. And so we'll after this need to talk about when we want to get together for that after action report, or not report, but discussion.
Discussion,
Yeah.
sorry, no. it's
So-
not.
Yeah. Thought about 18,500 for each one of these.
I like it. It's good.
Okay.
Do, because they'll be able to manage the overage, yeah.
Okay.
You know, in
So then,
retrospect, we pretty much, with the exception of the ones that we didn't fund at all, we, could look, for future reference, we almost fully funded everybody except for the ones that asked for a considerable amount of money.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was a lot of discussion and work we did when it frankly wasn't necessary. Am I looking
I don't
at
know. I think it was necessary because it really gives the community the knowledge that somebody's really looking at it and really deciding what's best for San Marcos.
Yeah,
And y'all really did a lot of good. Sorry, I'm now in deciding maybe not to fund some, because if you don't fund some, you can give more to others.
oh, right. No, I'm not saying just, anyway, it does, just an observation.
Okay, so, and this is our last 18,500. Whoops. Okay, and then these get, I wonder if I can just, oh, they just get the difference. So I can just do this. Let's see if that works. Okay, yeah. So now they all became 0. And these still were left over, like we gave each one of them 18,500. And then all of these are now in the category where they've got their adjusted request, basically. Okay, and then we are at 999,110. So we have $10 to spend.
I like that.
So we can, yeah.
We'll
You
buy
can-
somebody's donuts.
Dollars. Yeah, I like that. I wouldn't mind approving that.
Can we give, I'm just gonna put the $10 somewhere. Can we give like Marla Johnson Transitional Housing the extra 10? Do y'all care?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
Okay, we are at, yep, we're zeroed out.
Okay.
Ta-da. Okay, now let's walk through it really quick, and then I need to take, like, I don't need to take a vote. The chair will need to take a vote to say, so like to get an aye or nay from each one of you that yes, this is the list that is approved by the board. So it can be a group vote, you know, as long as we do the whole aye and nay thing. That makes it the official vote of the board that this list is the recommendation. Let's see, I can sort it by amount real quick, just so y'all can see the end result. Okay, so we have First Baptist Church in BC with their outreach ministry funded at 111 because we added to it. So that was one of those that we added some. And then it goes down from there, 93.5 for these two, which are both transitional housing actually. In the 60s, we have food distribution, iron sharpens iron, family and youth success for the Family Youth Council. 50s and 40s, we've got these. And then it just goes down from there. There's, you know, there's about, it looks like 3 to 5 in each sort of 10,000 range. We've got these, like, there's just such a variety.
so do we say yay or nay to each one, or do we say yay or nay to the whole list?
So you're saying yay or nay to the whole list.
Okay, okay.
That'll keep it. And let me make sure everybody's on there. Yeah, everybody's on the screen.
Okay,
Okay, so I'll turn it back over to the chair.
okay. Okay, let me see where I read. Okay, where is it on here for the vote for?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't
Or
script
do I
it.
just, okay,
So,
well, can I get,
Sorry.
you can't, well, I guess we'll script it. For the amount requested to approve this list for the amounts requested for the organizations, do I get a yay?
No, wait, sorry. I'm so sorry, I didn't script it.
No.
You'll need to ask for a motion.
Can
and then
I
a
get
second?
Okay, can I get a motion to approve or receive the amounts requested on this list to go to city council?
I move
Okay, do I get a second?
that motion.
Okay, so we got a motion.
Okay. Do I get a second?
I second.
Okay, then this is the amount that's been approved that will be presented to city council for full funding. Okay. And then,
So
And then-
Joanne,
go ahead.
I'm sorry. Now you need to take the aye or nay vote.
For yay, okay, to yay or yay for receiving the amount to go to city council on this report. Do I get any, do I get any yays? I sound retarded.
Yay.
Yay.
Okay,
Yay.
okay, now I see what you're asking. Okay, now do I
Okay.
get any nays? So all the yays have said yay. Okay, so this
Okay.
amount will go to city council for funding.
Okay,
And,
thank you.
okay, and it's now time to receive updates from board members on activities since the last meeting. Does any board member have an update for the group? All right, we will move to the next item, which is future agenda items.
So that's where I'll bring up what was on this agenda as a possibility, the after action review. Next week, of course, is Thanksgiving week. Here's my question. Do you want to have the after action review right after that, like the following week, just so it's fresh on your mind? Or do you want to combine it with the policy and procedure discussions that we're going to have in probably like January, February-ish?
I'd rather do it in January. Let's combine the two and be done.
I
Me
agree, Mary.
Okay. Any other thoughts on that?
No, it's, that's fine.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
do people feel it's a useful thing to do? I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this is the first year that we had this new tactic with the grading and the scores and many more people there. Yeah, I think it's noteworthy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So unless I hear differently than like anybody right now, then we'll just plan to combine it into the meeting where we're talking about policies and procedures and bylaws and that kind of thing. And we'll just make sure that it's on the agenda.
Yeah,
And that's in January.
yeah.
In January, I'm thinking late January, kind of after the holidays have settled down, mid to late
Okay.
January. Yeah,
Okay.
Yep.
That's going to be our next meeting, not until January.
correct. So that's the big question is, is it okay to have that much time in between? What happens in between is on
That's
December
fine.
7th. Okay.
Fine.
Okay. Thank you. December 7th is when this will go to the city council. And so, and then
Okay.
we'll start discussing procedures and so forth. I can imagine that it'll take a couple of meetings in January, maybe into February to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not like I certainly have given some thought as to what worked for me and what didn't work. So, just jotting it down now
Okay.
is certainly an option.
That's great. Okay.
All right.
Carol,
Thank you.
Carol,
Yes.
we will get a copy of the final list, correct? This
Oh,
final-
yes. And yes, absolutely. And I was also thinking of going ahead and publishing it online. Do you think that would be okay? That way the agencies can get it as well pretty easily.
I-
And
I
then,
think that's great. Sorry.
okay. And, oh, sorry, I was just talk. Okay, it will also be in the city council packet. And Diego is gonna publish online all the applications and the questionnaires, just the application form and the questionnaire, so that city council, if they're interested, can go look into the details as they're preparing for their meeting. But the way that, so I'll be the staff member presenting this to city council on the 7th. Y'all are welcome to be there.
Yes.
And so, but I will present this as this is the board's recommendation and staff recommends approval as recommended. So,
And when do you need our notes? I know you said that you would.
oh my gosh, I'm so glad you brought that up. I need all of your notes. It's
Oh,
next
boy.
week is Thanksgiving. Let's say by the first week in December, if I can get all your paper. So I know it can be messy. It doesn't matter. I need so we have your scoring, but now I need your notes on why you scored them that way and so forth. If you didn't take very many notes, that's fine. I'll take whatever you have. But it is just part of the public process and we'll scan them and store them.
I can leave mine with Diego. I have them all here. Is that okay?
Okay.
When you say notes, are you talking about notes or evaluation sheet
Notes.
or both?
Both the evaluation sheets, but if you took notes on a separate piece of paper too, then that would be valid also. We'll need all of it.
Okay, I have to wait.
Yeah. So, okay. Yeah, that's great. And thank you so much for bringing that up. And that's
it has to
all
be
I
a
have.
note on each and every agency.
Oh, no, it does not have to be. It's whatever you've done as you've gone along. So this is part of the public process. We're showing that if somebody wanted to come back and read through everybody's notes, we can prove that the discussion was based on objective reasons and really considering what's
okay.
best for San Marcos. Yeah, that's the
Okay.
whole point of it.
Oh,
Yeah.
good, because I don't want to go back and reevaluate it, because,
No,
some
you
of
didn't.
them, was, for me, it was a slam dunk. This is what I think. I don't need to,
Right. Yeah.
Okay, good. Whew.
It's
All right.
whatever you came up with as you go, and it can be as messy as it is. It doesn't matter. Yeah, handwriting is okay.
I
Yep.
just, I put mine on the evaluation thing, notes.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, good.
It's great. So either, yeah, so, but that is a good point that if you also have other notes that are on like a separate sheet, we do need those as well. We'll just take them all. If you want to keep a copy of your notes, I'm happy to scan them and give them back to you also.
Oh, we got to sign, well, we have to sign our name on the each note, right?
We have to, yeah, we'll have to note which
Who
board
did
member
what?
it's from. So typical is, yeah, that you would sign the sheet. If
Okay.
not, if y'all don't want to go through and sign like every page, we'll make you labels or something and we'll label which board member it was.
Then turn it into you.
Mhm. And so
Do
we
have
can
to
come
bring
pick
them
them
to
up.
you guys, or yeah, that was my question.
We can come pick it up. So we'll arrange for that with each one of you.
Okay. On the 7th. No, that's when the board, that's when. you're
Just
presenting the board.
in the first week of December. So one of us, Lorena or Irma or I, will call you and figure out when is a good time to pick them up. So,
Well, I would opt for a specific date, so.
oh, I can do that. Let me look at a calendar. So, if we could do by December 3rd,
What's December? Okay, December 3rd
December 3rd, it's a Friday
for our notes.
Okay.
for your notes. Yep.
Okay.
And I'll stop sharing my screen since my calendar's up here. Hang on,
Okay.
I can figure it out.
Okay.
We'll go back to the list. Okay.
And then December the 7th is when you'll go present that to city council, correct? Or when are you presenting?
Correct. It'll be on the agenda on the 7th.
Okay. And we can attend?
You're welcome to attend and you can let me know if you're interested, and then we'll make sure that you're able to participate. Like if ask a question is how it would be. So typically the council will just discuss, but if they wanted to ask you a question, I could say, we have several board members here who are available to answer questions if needed.
Okay.
So, but we would have to get you a little special link.
Okay.
I'm sorry, is it only in person or will it also be online?
It's a combination, so you can do either way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
And you're gonna send an email about what time or details of?
Sure, I will. Yeah, the thing about council agendas are we will be a certain number on the agenda that's not established yet. It'll be established the week before, but you don't know really what time it's going to happen. You have to kind of guess based on the agenda. Yeah.
Okay,
So, and their meetings do run late.
I'm sure.
So they do.
All right.
Okay, all right, cool.
You ready? And then board
That's a
members.
wrap, right?
We're up to the chair.
Most glory.
Okay. Board members may provide requests for discussion items for a future agenda in attendance with the board approved bylaws. No further discussion can be held related to topics proposed until they are posted on a future agenda in accordance with the Texas Open Meeting Act. Does any board member want to request an item for a future agenda? And I think the only future agenda that we have, or will that be a part of this category, is coming back in January 22?
Correct. And so
Okay.
we'll definitely have this item on the agenda for the after action review.
Okay. Thank you. We will now move on to the agenda item called question and answer session and press and public. This is an opportunity for the press and public to ask questions related to items on this agenda. Staff, is anyone present in person, online, or phone to speak to this agenda item?
Okay, and we do not have any additional people.
Okay, thank you for your participation. Do I hear a motion to adjourn the meeting? The motion,
to adjourn.
Gloria, the motion is made by Gloria. And do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, Mary, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All against say nay. I'm now adjourning the meeting at 8:32 PM.